Our next guest believes that self-knowledge is the greatest resource in the healing arts. His philosophy and unique approach to patient care has given him the title of the Doctor of Now. Please welcome Dr. Richard Hume. Hi, Richard. How are you?
Great. Thank you.
Well, explain Doctor of Now. What is that? How did you get that title?
That is a moniker. Yeah. Actually, I didn't put that on myself. It was it came about, I think probably people teasing me about this quote that I was very fascinated with. Thomas Edison quote over 100 years ago. His quote was a doctor of the future. And the doctor of the future would give no medicine and interest his patients in the care of the human frame, in exercise and in diet, and in the cause and prevention of disease. And that rang very true for a lot of myself and a lot of my colleagues. I'm a practicing chiropractor. And so in the holistic arts field, we believe in less is more, and more conservative care, the better. But there's a wide spectrum of the different things that people will do to take care of themselves, medicine included. I've had a few surgeries myself, and so I'm glad those are around. Yet, looking at the evolution of all things, including healthcare, we're looking more at this kind of understanding of how we want to take care of the body and have it become more of a self-rapport approach where people understand themselves. Socrates said that to know thyself is the beginning of all wisdom. And that was something that some years back rang very true to me as far as where I was in life, and that I could learn more myself to be able to talk to my patients about self-knowledge and understanding yourself, and how the impact for their overall well-being so much more profound than medicine or any kind of external approach to their healthcare. Yeah.
Is that why you got into chiropractic work, is because of more the holistic approach to medicine?
Yeah, kind of. I was pretty squeamish with bodily fluids and whatnot. I like the whole healthcare approach, but that kind of steered me away from the medical field. I like the popping of bones, the cracking. I mean, it was pretty much that simple in the beginning. But as the years went on and you start to learn different philosophies of healing, Western approaches, Eastern approaches, that you start to realize and develop a self-rapport to be able to communicate with your patients and give them the best advice and the best care that you have available. And so the art of chiropractic was something that it resonated a lot with me, and got good over the years. And it just starts to evolve to, not just what I could provide the patient with, what I know as far as a treating modality, but how I can enhance the other aspects of their life, not just the physical, but the emotional and the mental. And that mental component is a huge one when it comes to overall well-being and being able to facilitate a potential that people have within them, whether it's the potential energy or human potential. And a mind, body, spirit model we use, and we kind of use that framework to educate patients, teach them on how to understand themselves, on a more self-aware level.
What are some of the steps to enhancing self-awareness?
Well, the first thing is people want it. People need to have some kind of curiosity, at least an interest in their own well-being, because lots of times you can have the best advice, but if it falls on deaf ears, it's not going to help anybody. And so they have to have an understanding that, and maybe put it in terms that people can relate to, because we get so tied up in the circumstances that we live in day to day that we have no control over. And it's easy to get buried in the circumstances and conditions of day-to-day life. And so some people, that message falls it's as simple as saying, the bumper sticker, "Don't worry, be happy." Everybody can agree with that, but it's like, okay, well, how do you get there? And so that's where all this stuff comes in. That's where self-knowledge comes in, because we're going all the way to the cosmos and all the way to the chaoticness of life and everything in between to get this broader understanding of how things work and who we are, not just physically, but on an energetic state. And so once they have an interest, then we can start to develop some of the concepts, the principles and tenets of bigger laws of the universe and Eastern and Western healing modalities, science, philosophy, and get that common thread all through there where people can understand it. So there's a lot of analogy, there's a lot of metaphors, there's a lot of stories, and we find these all through different religious and spiritual teachings, day-to-day sayings, and it's all right in front of us, yet it's kind of hard to swallow. So we put things together, this knowledge, and make sure that this understanding is something that people can have that aha moment and be able to accept it, on a heart level, where they can use it as a belief and higher than what they may be believing currently with their limited belief system.
What does it mean to you when you see your patients have that aha moment?
That's wonderful. It's kind of like, of course, it's like, when a kid ties their shoes and they're like, "Oh, I finally got it. I figured this out." They had that ability the day before. And so it's this cultivation of that experience, that feeling of, hey, it was always within me. And when you see somebody light up like that and they get it, whether it's a small concept or a larger concept, it's all about momentum. And if somebody is putting their attention towards this philosophy and this intention to know themselves more, it's just going to pick up because they start to see it in everyday life. They'll start to experience things by utilizing a lot of the principles, and it'll just ingrain and rehabituate their thinking about, life in general. And it goes on to affect all aspects of their life, whether it's relationship, their job, their health, the resources that they have.
Yeah. Talk to me a little bit about the difference between conditional and unconditional thoughts.
So, if you think about conditional thought, like a condition of, if you buy a car, what's the make and model, what's the color, what's the condition, what kind of tire does it have on it? All these things are conditions. And so everybody grows up and develops their own unique self-perspective. It has to do with going all the way back to genetic predispositions, to the socioeconomic, cultural backgrounds that people have, education, and then their life experience. And so we end up with this opinion of different things, and the meaning of those things basically form our decisions and moving forward and what we do or don't do. And so conditions can weigh people down because lots of people can't take their eyes off of all the conditions that are around them. But the secret is that you cannot control things outside of yourself. And so once you develop some self-knowledge and you get a degree of self-awareness, then you kind of rise above that thinking of, I need to manage everything in my environment that's external to me. And you realize that you don't have any control over it. So you kind of relax a little bit about it. And the decision-making process, the who, what, where, when, how, and why of things look different in an unconditional state. So conditionally, you got people, places, things, time, the process of whether I'm going to do something or not do something, and my rationale, the justification of why I'm doing that. And so from an unconditional perspective, the who, what, and where are the people, places, things, circumstances outside of yourself that you can't control. You kind of put that aside because you can't control it. And it becomes almost a secondary focus. And because you're now focusing on what it is that you want, the most important things in your life, the preferences. And so the when is going to be synchronicity. And so once you learn universal laws of energy, you understand that there's a synchronistic pattern of how things come about. And so time will become synchronistic, and the how will always be shown to you. Once you are on your way to where you want to be, the next step is always going to be there. And the why is now not rationale or justification. The why is now reason. And the reason why you are moving in the direction you are is specific to the individual, their purpose in life.
All very good tips, and we really appreciate you taking the time to share those with us today. Dr. Richard Hume, thank you again.
I appreciate it, Kelly. Thank you so much.
Thank you, and stay tuned.